Welcome to this very special edition of Strange New Pod. I'm your fleet captain and host, Julian Brown, and this episode of the pod is 2 years in the making, and I'm getting goosebumps just saying that. We are so thrilled that it's finally here. Strange New Worlds had its series premiere today. We're going to go all into it. Alongside me, guys, the best bridge crew this side of Spock's sideburns, our resident miracle worker and all-around giver of fun facts, Vice Admiral Eric.
Fun fact time.
Fun fact time. Do I have that right here?
Fun fact time.
Yes, I do. Rear Admiral Eric. Sorry, Vice Admiral Eric. Then we have Lieutenant Commander Hawk, who is still breathing sighs of relief that the Picard Season 2 finale kind of stuck the landing. And if you thought her shrines to Spock and Uhura were big now, just wait until the end of 2 guaranteed seasons of Strange New Worlds. It's Captain Giraffe. Awesome. That shirt is so baller. And this is the most exciting news of the night. Joining us on our view screen for this amazing occasion is our friend and very special guest, Jessie Gender, in the words of Captain Pike. Welcome back and welcome aboard. How's everybody doing?
Hi.
Oh, you know. Meh. I'm very tired because I've watched this episode like 4 or 5 times today. I'm just like, I'm breathing it. I'm living it. I love it. Yes.
Repeat. Exactly, Jessie. Oh, man. Jessie, listen, we are such huge fans of yours and just so honored to have you on the show today. I just want to say also personally for Giraffe and I, it was an absolute pleasure to meet you in Chicago in person finally.
It was a pleasure to meet both of you, and it was a pleasure to be asked to be on here. Like, thank you so much.
Yeah, I feel like this was like the perfect episode to have you on. I know you're just excited about this as we are. I do want to give you the quick opportunity to tell our viewers and listeners who may not be familiar with you a little bit about you and your amazing YouTube channel.
Well, thank you. For those of you who don't know me, hi, my name is Jessie Earl, also known as Jessie Gender on the YouTubes. I talk about Star Trek quite a lot on that channel, but mainly what it is a channel where we use geekdom, nerddom, science fiction, Star Trek to talk about social, political, and LGBTQ issues. So that's all there. I rant for way too long. I talk about sex and all that fun stuff. So yeah, that's the short version of me. So yeah.
It's like listening to Giraffe on Discord.
I'll put it like I'm the conversations that like all of us already have, but I just put it out on YouTube for other people to see and other people to judge. So
yeah, that's awesome. Your channel's awesome. And by the way, I think like the best video that you have up right now is your NFT video. Like, if you didn't already know it, fuck NFTs.
Yes, fuck NFTs.
100%.
Yeah, I just the whole NFT stuff at Mission Chicago is like, dear God, this is a perfect metaphor. They have a literal holodeck wasting energy, making loud noise and annoying everyone and selling nothing on the floor. It was very frustrating.
And I so wanted to go to that holodeck thing.
Yeah.
Like, no, I'm not gonna do it, but it looks awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, I was good and I controlled myself and didn't do it. Jessie, every time that we have a guest on the show, we like to ask them and put them on the spot a little bit. Your favorite Trek, your favorite character, and your favorite episode. I know it's like the hardest questions in the world, but you have to do it.
Favorite Trek, favorite character. What was the other? Was that it? Or
favorite Trek, favorite character, and favorite episode.
Oh God, that one's gonna be difficult. Favorite Trek. I think qualitatively, it's Deep Space Nine. I think is the best overall Trek. But if I had to say favorite Trek, normally it would be Star Trek Enterprise because it was the sort of
Eric.
Oh, Eric,
Wow.
have you heard that?
Oh, wait. I'm going to make this quick. Star Trek Enterprise because it encapsulates everything I think is terrible, is weird, and is great about Trek.
This is what I like about it.
Yeah, exactly. I could also argue Lower Decks because I love Lower Decks so much, but I think Enterprise just captures that totality of weird Star Trek energy that I just adore. Like, it's bad, it's great, and it's weird, all in 4 seasons.
Oh, that's so perfect.
Like me.
Yes.
That's awesome. That's like the best like I've ever heard Enterprise described. That's awesome.
Yeah. It's just distilling all of Star Trek into 4 seasons of everything. But favorite character, normally it was honestly it would have been Jedsia Dax, because I love Jedsia. Helped me understand me being a trans person when I was younger in many ways. Also, I just love her badass femininity. Like, she's definitely feminine, but she kicks butt as well. But it has changed slightly in recent years to be Tendi. I think Tendi might be my favorite character of all time now in Trek, because she just has that earnest, joyous optimism at the world that just she never lets anyone get her down, and it's what I want to live up to my entire life, because I just want to like have that optimism every day that she has. So
that's
Tendi,
awesome.
I
love Tendi so much, and I love the dog.
Yes. Just when it goes around the corner and turns into a cube, I literally die every freaking time.
That's just completely normal, right?
And then favorite episode. That one's gonna be hard, so I'll just go with the one that just immediately comes to mind, just because we were talking about it. I don't know if I'd say this any other day, but Weege Dooge from Lower Decks, I think, is a near perfect 30 minutes of television. I think they just, from top to bottom, that is just an excellent streamlined way to like how to write in a great episode of any TV show, let alone
Is
Trek.
that the one with all three of the Lower Decks?
Free
that's
ships.
so good. I love that. That was actually, they were showing that on the Paramount Plus live channel a few days ago, and it came on. I was like, I love this episode so much.
It's so good. It's like 30 minutes of just like it comments on Lower Decks as a whole, as like a series. It comments on the characters' arcs by reflecting them in other characters, gives us a look in Vulcan culture and Klingon culture at the same time from a perspective that we've never seen for both of those, while also telling a story that pushes forward the arc of the show, and also has a commentary about how Star Trek appropriates Hawaiian culture from time to time, and it's kind of not okay. So it's just like it does all those things in 30 freaking minutes.
So true.
Oh my god!
I gotta say that's probably the best out of the box answer we've ever gotten from a guest. Like all three of those questions.
Thank you very much. I'll take it. I like being the weird one. I'll take the weird answer.
They're not weird answers. They're great answers. I just want to take a quick moment to say to everyone on Twitch, we definitely have a bunch of new viewers watching us live tonight. I want to say welcome. We are Strange New Pod. We started this podcast just under 2 years ago. In a couple of weeks, it'll be your 2-year anniversary. And we started as a Strange New Worlds podcast, and it evolved into a whole lot more than that. But this is why we're here tonight for Strange New Worlds. Welcome to all anybody who does end up joining our collective. It's awesome to see so many new faces. And welcome to our tried and true collective members. It's amazing to have you here. So let's get down to it. This week, Strange New Worlds. It's finally here. I'm just going to have goosebumps this entire fucking show tonight. We review and break down the series premiere. What is so urgent that Robert April has to order Captain Pike out of his self-imposed bearded exile? Why is Spock naked? How does Pike...
Because I've been asking for it. They read my tweets. Get over it.
They're in your dreams.
They're in your dreams.
You know, I had lunch the next, just behind the writers of Strange New World, and the whole time I was like, naked Spock. Naked Spock.
That's right, you did, right? At 10:40.
I did.
I made this joke before we went live. I was just sort of like, it was really mean of the writers to go from a scene with bearded Pike and right to naked Spock. And I'm like, I'm just gonna be like Riker. I'm gonna be in the holodeck after that, and it'll be fine.
Exactly. There he is. He's gonna go there at some point. How does Pike's knowledge of his future affect his captaincy early on? And can the crew not only rescue number one, but prevent a planet from making the same mistakes of Earth and kind of the fucking bullshit that we're going through in the world right now? We're going to get into that all, but first, Eric, I feel like this is probably the most special thank you to our patron collective at all, because this is kind of what it's all been leading up to. We do need to thank all of our amazing collective members at the Ready Room level and above. Hit it.
Thank you to Simon Steger, Jeff Reeve, Mariah Gossett, Meg, Jen Stein, Tina Alexander, Joe Saporito, Noe Santo, Kung Hui, Takako Nagumo, Kara Kennedy, Mark, Fernanda Nogales, Smick, SMK, Ian Davies, Amy Grace, Laura Linderman, Reasonable,
Ranger,
Colin Davidson, Susie, Jesse Desmond, Alan Davis. It was Alan.
It's
right?
Alan.
Okay,
it's
yeah.
Alan. Yep.
I keep on forgetting. Shatterhand 2049, Lane Hickerson, and our 3 newest collective members, MC Frodis, Maggie, and Michael Graham.
Woo! 3 new collective members this week. We mentioned it on the show on our Picard review, but if you haven't listened to that, we'll mention it again. You guys fucking rock. If you don't know and you're new here tonight, we actually have a new patron goal of 50 patrons, and when we get there, we will get a table at Mission Seattle, a podcast table. That is our goal. So
I thought we were going to sing the TOS theme song. I'm just going to keep pushing that.
You keep saying it, and it's
With the lyrics?
With the lyrics.
One dream by starlight, whatever it was. Oh, God.
Can we just have Jesse do it?
Yes.
I did it. I
She's
did it
ready
in a
to go.
video. I put on a whole outfit and I did it in a video. Had a little bouncing dribble too. It was a whole thing.
Oh man, we got to do the bouncing tribble. That's a good idea.
Yeah, you got a dribble. Right here.
I do have to read Lexi's comment on Twitch. To new viewers, it should be noted that this is the only podcast on the internet that will talk about the Remans. We stand them. What about the Remans, Lexi?
We
The
stand
rumors-
the Remans.
The rumors about the remnants, I like
The
it.
rumors about the Remans, exactly. So we've been promising it for a few weeks now. We
Okay,
did hit
let
our first goal. Yes, Draft, you take it away. You
It's
get to
my fault.
apologize to the Patron Collective.
It's my absolute fault. So TMI, but I have a jaw infection and I'm under a lot of pain medication right now. That's why I'm very happy for Strange New World too, but and I can't sing for the life of me because I'm in a lot of pain. So I'm really sorry. I was supposed to do it yesterday and I didn't do it. I'm still here for the recording. Whoop whoop. So I offered to do a poetic reading of the TOS lyrics, but Julian told me that no, I still had to sing,
I did.
and that he will wait. That I will. I will sing as soon as it's cleared, and we will do the video. I swear. My
3 or
bad.
4 of us have recorded our videos. They exist. It's happening. It's just pushed back.
It is
one
true.
More week.
It has
It's
happened.
It is true. I'm
I
really
saw
sorry.
it happen. Don't tell me it didn't happen.
I do have a good excuse. Well, for real, sorry.
It's true. You do.
Can I just tell you, one of my best friends and I yell that at each other all the time. With that exact line, Nero's line. I saw it happen. Don't tell me that it didn't happen.
Jesse, that's amazing because that's also Hawk's. That's Hawk's thing. He's the Nero guy. He could Hawk, give everybody the Nero, please.
It has happened. I saw it happen. I watched it happen. Don't tell me it didn't happen.
So fucking good.
Hello,
So good.
Christopher. I'm Nero.
Best line in the entire movie.
The codes, please, sir.
And you will not make me think not make me think that T'Pring hi Chris is not a hello Christopher in disguise.
Oh, fair. And now you think she's Romulan because Draft is always
Absolutely.
right.
She's Romulan.
Oh God.
It's-
Guys, this would be the time in the show normally where we would get into the Strange New Loop, but with Strange New Worlds, we're actually going to change up the format of the show a little bit with a few new segments that are going to come later in the show, which gives us more time to talk about the episodes. So, with that, I will say let's get right into our review of this amazing episode of Star Trek. It is the Strange New Worlds series premiere, self-titled Strange New Worlds. Let's do it. Jesse, as our guest, you get to go first. Your initial thoughts
put me on the spot.
this episode, as we do.
I love this episode. I think I said this elsewhere, but I think it might be the strongest, or at least one of the strongest live action Star Trek pilots ever. I would still maybe argue for Prodigy and or Lower Decks as slightly stronger, but it's still up there with them. I was so nice to see all these characters come back that we met in Discovery. Pike is fantastic. Ethan Peck is fantastic. Una, well, she doesn't get a lot here, is also really good. But the thing that shocked me most was how much I loved the characters that we hadn't met before, specifically to call out to Celia Gooding's Uhura. In the small bits we get, she was fantastic.
So
and then the audacity of giving Nurse Chapel a personality, and this good of a personality breaks canon. I hate it. No, she's fantastic. I have an inkling that Nurse Chapel might be a surprise favorite character for me just based on her appearance here, because she is a weirdo dork, and I'm here for it. But then I just also loved the fact that this the episode was just a fun adventure, but also managed to tell something kind of like not the most biting, but still a salient political story for today, right in its opening episode. And then also one other thing too, and I also appreciate about it, is that this was the show that I think a lot of people have been sort of billing as the show to like bring together all the Trek fans that like have hated Discovery and like were controversial and stuff. And I think they can do that. Like, I think this is a show that can be a good entry point for a lot of people. And I think that's awesome. And I think that's a great thing for it to do. But I also just appreciated that it was also so willing to engage with Discovery and have that be like part of the central plot of this episode, and just showing like, no, it's all connected. We're all together. You don't get to disown that for the show. Like, it was just accepting the totality of this universe. And I thought that was absolutely wonderful and beautiful. So yeah, that's my quick thoughts on the episode.
And I will read a comment on Twitch real quick that goes along right with what you're saying. Lexi writes, going to be hard for me not to fall completely in love with Chapel.
Yeah, she's like, oh my God. Like, what did she say? She's like, power to your sister or something like that. I was oh my God.
Yeah, that's a great line where she's like, is it like, stay with us, sister, or
stay strong, sister?
Stay strong, sister. Yeah, that's
it's like small little lines like that where you just like personality ekes through. And I think that's what's strongest about this episode is like the personality, whether it be in the writing or the acting, just instantly comes through, and you get the sense that like these characters feel fully fleshed out and formed right from the second they step out, and that's like really impressive. So
yeah, I agree.
I'm gonna read one more comment in the chat. It says, "I'll take Prodigy for best pilot." That's from Nami. Of course, you would pick that, Nami.
Of course, hi Nami. Eric, why don't you keep going? Your thoughts on the series premiere.
So for those who have
fun fact time.
Fun fact. For those who know me, or at least have seen me on here, normally when I go on these little diatribes about an episode, I just, do it off the cuff of my memory. I wrote a fucking 2 or 3 page note summary about this. Also, do you know what this is? This is a lovely butter tart. And you know what's sweeter than this? The premiere of Strange New Worlds, because this show is so fucking
Eric,
good.
That was good.
I've been trying not to eat this on stream for 15 minutes.
I'm under too many pills to go through that show. I'm really sorry.
What the hell is going on?
But like Pike says to La'an, Strange New Worlds had some big shoes to fill, and fucking hell, they did it right. It's not only a return to the episodic format that we've grown up with, but it also returns to the Enterprise, which is a ship we've all loved, and a crew that we got to meet in season 2 of Disco, and we thought we loved them then. Just this one episode has just propelled them into space. Anson Mount's performance as Captain
The Final
Pike,
Frontier.
Sorry, you son of a bitch. Anson Mount's performance was so incredibly good and nuanced, and just how he's haunted by his visions of the future, and how it's stopping him from becoming the truly great captain. He has a talk with Spock about this, but by the end of the episode, he takes the reins like his beautiful horse, and he just he gallops into the sunset on the fucking Enterprise. God, I love this show. And then we get Ethan Peck and Rebecca Romaine coming back as Una and Spock, and their evolution, despite Spock's weird ass hair that randomly changes in scenes. It just they've just kept on propelling their performances and how good these characters are. We get to learn a little bit more about each of these characters, and we like to see, we've seen that Spock is also suffering, that he's missing his sister. That I really love
that connection so much.
I love the fact that they didn't just throw away all the disco stuff. It's firmly planted here. It's not something they're gonna pull on every single week or every couple minutes, but it's there, and it's not gonna be forgotten. That's a great thing. We get introduced to a number of new characters. Christina Chong is La'an Noonan Singh. We see her inklings of her hesitations with genetic modifications because of her, her history. We all know that. She's hard-headed, quick thinking, just the perfect security chief. The promotion at the end was well earned. We get a little bit about her history at the Gorn, which is such a great mystery that we get to hopefully we get to figure out.
Straight up horror movie.
It's dark.
Right.
It's dark as all hell. It's damn. All right.
Her story about her family and that ship. Oh my God, she was so good in this whole episode. Mm-hmm. And then she also has the history with Una that we've slightly touched upon, but not really. She saved her, but we don't know the circumstances. Jess Bush as Nurse Chapel. My God. again, weird and awesome. The bunny scene was so damn good. And then we get that elevator scene with Celia Rose Gooding as Uhura in that whole rabbit sequence, and she's just like, she's playing off, like, you can tell how smart she is just in these little moments we see. Like, we don't get to see much of the secondary crew. It's mostly Una, Pike, and Spock, but just the glimpses we get at these characters is just enough to wet your whistle, and you're like, man, I want to know more about them. Babs Olusamuken as Dr. Mabenga. Man, I was sad when we didn't get the original Doctor from the
Dr. Boyce.
But no, this Doctor totally sold me. First episode, amazing. Melissa Navia as Erica Ortegas. There's something about her that makes me think that she's gonna be like my favorite helmsman. Person.
She's great so far. Just style alone. I'm looking at it, it's like, oh,
style.
Okay.
When she was in the captain's chair, and she's like, "Why does this always happen when I'm in the captain's chair?" I was like, "I love you. I love you."
It's
already.
not a spoiler because they show it in the preview in season 2. Like, her outfit for one of the scenes in it is just like, it's just like peak whatever century we're in, 23rd century. Like, you rock that, Ortegas. You do it. You go. She's awesome.
I can't remember the name of the transporter chief, but he was really good too.
Kyle.
He was good too, and he wasn't billed as one of the main cast, but he was in this.
He's also a legacy character too. Kyle was in the original series, I believe, right? Yeah. Yeah.
Unfortunately, we didn't get to see Bruce Horrick's chief engineer, Hemmer. But we get to see him a little bit at the end, and I'm really interested to see where he's going to come. I like the whole plot of this episode because it's a first contact mission gone wrong. But, we've seen this before, but we don't really know what happened. And it turns out, because of what happened on Disco, they've changed the course of this planet forever. And the Enterprise crew had to either, leave them to their devices and blow each other up. But Pike took the moral high road and decided to influence them to the better. Like, he showed them our history and like what we're currently going through, which is fucking horrific. And the fact that he chose he gave them the possibility, like the power of possibility, and like he says, until our last moment, our future is what we make it. And that's a beautiful line, and it's something that people everywhere should heed.
And I loved it. I loved that too, because it's number one. It's like, it's a fuck the Prime directive for your premiere episode. Yes. is a strong move to start with.
It is tradition.
It's true.
And then 2, I really love that they made the explicit connection in the opening with the movie that Pike's watching. Why am I blanking on the name of it?
The Journey of the Earth System.
Which is
the Day of the Earth System.
Which is the exact same thing that Pike does later on the episode, except for it's an alien doing it to humans, and and then he does the same thing to them. Which I love that connection there. It was a nice.
It's a good little bookmark, right? Like, oh, so good. And I was gonna say this anyway, but Nami's in the chat. The music in this episode is brilliant. When I saw the screener like a couple weeks ago, I was talking to Julie. I was like, "Can I message Nami and tell her how amazing she did?" Because I felt weird. It was like, I don't want to fanboy out, but it's so good. There are hints of the past, but she made it unique to herself. I got goosebumps throughout the whole episode. I teared up. I was crying from the music. It was pitch perfect, and more so, I don't think any of you guys know this. Not even Hawk, who's known me the longest. When I started university, I went for music, and I entered under film and television for composition. I ended up switching to digital media or multimedia, which is what me and Hawk did. But what this music did was actually bring out that love of music, like discovering and composing, and it made me bring out my keyboard and start writing again. And I don't think that hasn't happened in like 17 years, and like it's beautiful. Like, I'm a little bit tearing up because that's how much this music meant to me. And no, I mean, like, fuck. It's so good. That's a wonderful thing. The production design on this show is amazing. That retro futurist vibe that I loved. And whenever I saw the first episode a couple weeks ago, and I did the overlay, and then I saw a little bit more like from the teasers and stuff, and I was like, I have to keep changing this, and I ended up just doing this this simplified one because I couldn't keep changing it every time I saw something. That would just make me go crazy. I just overall I'm gonna say I love Disco, I love Picard, like this new era of Trek, but when I watched this episode, I honestly thought to myself, holy shit, this is how I felt like as a kid. This is what my Trek felt like when I was little, and this is a show that I showed my kids and they liked, and this is my favorite pilot out of all the Star Treks. It's beautiful, it's perfect for me, and I hope more people will give it a chance, even the people who don't like current Trek, because if they don't, they're missing out on something beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
I just have to say, man, that was beautiful. Like, no bullshit. Like, I'm so excited. Like, you and I, you were the second person that I messaged. No, sorry, you were the first person that I messaged.
We were staying up way too late.
Yeah. The first person I messaged to start this pod and to feel like your excitement and enthusiasm and everything you just said. That's fucking beautiful. And I just want to say, I've been looking for a moment to peek at what you did with the overlay for our show, and it looks fucking beautiful, man.
Thank you.
I have to answer a question real quick on Twitch. E. Simpson asks, is Picard going to be discussed at all, or will this be purely Strange New Worlds? This is purely Strange New World. If you want, after this episode, we recorded our Picard finale review last night. That is available in podcast form and YouTube right now. So when you're done with this, you can go and watch that right now. With that, Hawk, into your thoughts on the pilot, or not the pilot, that was the Cage, on the series premiere, sir.
Oh my God, like what you guys said have already pretty much encapsulated it. So, my notes are a little scant, but I'm going ahead with it. So my short review of this, definitely no failure to launch. It is wonderful how the show acknowledges the events of Discovery Season 2, and it wraps them into the finer points of the plot, around the events that apparently none dare speak of, I guess under penalty of death.
Right, like that captain has a higher security clearance than Pike, and he's like, not for this, sorry.
For this. And I actually love how it got them out of trouble at the end of the episode, because to actually acknowledge those events in an official report would have been a violation. So let's start with Anson Mount. He is just so comfortable in this role. It's like scary how made he is for this, like this impressive figure who's haunted with the knowledge of the end of the life that he knows. Everybody keeps saying his death, but it's the end of the life that he knows, which in some ways is a lot scarier to handle than death itself. And this is why he's so hesitant going back out in the black, and that not because he's afraid of his own death, but he worried about how that knowledge is going to affect the actions going forward. And you can see it every time he looks in a reflective surface. All he sees is his own scarred face staring back at him, and that. And yet, despite this, he doesn't carry himself as a haunted person in that. It's like to the crew and everybody he meets, all the new and the old faces that come together to form the Enterprise, he's warm, he's endearing, and it is just infectious.
Mm-hmm.
Ethan Peck as Spock is, what can I say? It's perfect. He is perfect. It's an amazing balance that he has to carry in that, between that Zen-like indifference and that versus the caring and the warmth he actually shows to those closest to him. Like, it's always a high wire act for any actor playing a Vulcan to create a character that an audience can feel close to, and Peck seems to just kind of effortlessly find his way across that tightrope. Like, his conversation with Pike about the vision of his end is amazing, and like, who else could he have confided this knowledge to, right? As well, he had like probably the best comedic moment of the whole show, and that, with that scream of pain that just seemed to come out of nowhere.
That's better.
Better.
Saru still wins.
Yeah.
Who does?
Saru.
Or what about the dot in Discovery?
Oh,
God. Oh, God.
Why would
God.
you bring that up? Why?
Because, come on, you know me.
They wouldn't scream.
They wouldn't. It's true. Go ahead.
Anyways, I am really looking forward to seeing future storylines of his. As well, the newcomer, like probably the standout newcomer, was Christina Chong as Leon Nudian Singh, and that her backstory. Oh my god, it lends so much to the outcome of the main story in that. And like, let's just talk about how the plot kind of circles around to itself like so well, because it starts with Pike and that, who's fearful of his of his own end with his foreknowledge and that, moving into Leon Newton Singh and that, who recognizes that knowledge of death and that, and an actual healthy contemplation of it, and that can actually lead to a longer life. And then towards the end of that, where it's like basically revealing to the Kylie people and that, how like their end is coming just as the end came for like on Earth and that. Like, it's just point back to the beginning. And this is what I love about like a self-contained episode and that, the way it just effortlessly moves throughout like a good story. So, and speaking of the story, they picked like a great pure Trek topic, and that cultural contamination and what they call it, General Order 1.
General Order 1, yep.
Yeah, cultural contamination. The
Prime
unexpected.
Directive, that'll never stick.
Because the Vulcan invented first contact, and it's called
So
the
they like
General Order
reminding us.
1, right?
As they never
I
cease to remind us. Go ahead, Jesse. Sorry.
No, I was just saying I like that they retcon fix that, why it's called General Order 1 sometimes in the original series, then goes to Prime Directive, which is a nice little retcon.
Yeah.
That'll never stick.
Yeah, that'll never stick. Prime Directive.
Oh, I love all the little things. Anyways, and again, went right back to Discovery. I love that. They provided this underdeveloped culture with the technical information they needed to create a warp signature, which they don't bother trying to turn into any kind of drive in that. They went straight for a weapon of mass destruction. And yeah, it's like, it is tough not to see all the parallels in that. I mean, basically, for people who say it's not a political show, and that it is, and it always has been.
Since 1966, ladies and gentlemen.
Mm-hmm.
Since 1966.
It's been woke.
Oh, my
Or
Twitter.
woke was woke.
Yeah, exactly.
But like, just confronting all these people and that with her own current and like pretty much future history, and that it parallels in the civil strife of the Kylie people and that they were willing to destroy each other. It really hit home.
Yeah.
Tying in the eugenics war and like World War III into it all, and that. I know. Just overall, like I got to parallel Eric and just say like they couldn't have picked a better plot to start this show off with. Like, just thumbs up. That's all I got to say. Let's move on.
Well done. I love how everybody's so enthusiastic about this pilot. It's really beautiful. It really is. And if you go on Twitter right now, I've literally not seen a single negative about this series. Which
Because
is a
you
testament.
blocked half Twitter.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. But still, speaking of draft, your thoughts.
Finally, you were
Yeah, it's
skipping
your
for
turn.
to the
I
end.
went in seniority of who was on the podcast first.
You already
From the
told me that
beginning to the
I
end.
weaseled my way.
I did. It's true. That was a funny text chain.
You weaseled your way into our hearts.
Oh, thank you.
Into
See,
our hearts.
that's nicer.
And gave us faith of the heart.
Oh my God! Stop.
It's not a recording
Of the heart.
We
can do it
Go,
live
yeah,
right
you
now.
do it.
I don't
I'll,
care.
I'll do it live anytime.
We did it live at Chicago. There are people who witnessed this, so I know it happened, even if I was quite
It's true.
intoxicated.
I will give everybody at the end of the show, once we've hit the exit music, an option to do something, but we'll save that for the end of the show. Draft, your thoughts.
So we've been waiting for this so long, and I'm a TOS stan, right? So this is very special to me. TOS was the introduction that was my introduction to Star Trek as a kid, and I keep going back to it, even if we get Voyager and DS9 and Discovery and all these great shows. There's something in TOS that appeals to the child in me. Maybe it's the food cubes, maybe it's the plot holes, maybe it's the weird stuff that they stick on poor dogs. I don't know. There's something to TOS that keeps bringing me back. And Strange New World has these same kind of a little bit of fever dreamish plot, colors, people, stories, and it just strikes a chord to me. And to see these people, see, for me they're people, these characters that have inspired me so much throughout my life, who has like lay a wall objectives, wall roads for me. Like I speak several languages because of that freaking show. So to finally see again Uhura on the bridge was such, I don't know. I was like, I'm glad I survived the pandemic. I was like literally thinking that. I was like, like it kept me alive. I was like, I should not mess around. I should be serious. I should like look right and left when I cross the street. I should stop at the always stop because I need to be here to see that. Like it gave me a real objective during times where I was stuck here far from my family, not being able to go back, not having papers, like crazy stuff. And I was like, Strange New World, it's coming. I'm gonna each week watch this like I watched this when I was a kid. And it's exactly what happened. Well, the first time I watched it, I was drunk. The second time,
in my hotel room.
Midnight. It was midnight. So I really need to rewatch it as functioning adult, which I'm not now. So whatever.
In a
It's
couple
like
months.
I've never been a functioning adult in my life, so I don't know when that will be. Yeah.
Let me lie to myself. It's beautiful. I mean, have you seen like how is everybody so hot in the future?
I was saying this all the time. I don't know how they can get anything done.
People? Like I'd be just like, you. Like I nonstop.
Can
like,
anybody
incredible.
here right now? Can anybody here on this podcast right now name a single cast of Star Trek that wasn't attractive?
Yeah, in TOS there were a lot.
Okay, I immediately regret asking that question because it's true.
Okay. I think everyone on that TOS, everyone was fairly hot except for a certain captain was not.
I mean, you know what? They look like 35-year-old that smoked cigarettes after cigarettes and like went on adventure. I relate to that as a more than 35-year-old. Today at the pharmacy, I say I was born in 92, so everything is well.
That's when I was born, so there you go. Sorry.
Okay. Next subject. So
Turn 30 next month. It's gonna be great.
So yeah, it's special. It's
30's
important.
not bad, Jesse.
I was glad to watch it with people I care, who became my friends, and it's a beautiful pilot. They could have literally served any kind of story. Let's be honest. I would have been about it. I'm about the stories in TOS again. Like I can watch like Flying Murder Pancake and be entertained by it. So, dude, they could literally do whatever.
Of course, that episode. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I mean,
I was gonna say that the episode now is even sadder now because we got introduced to Kirk.
To Sam Kirk. Yeah,
Yeah.
like that's why it was in my head. So, because I was like, no, it's not a good episode, but it's a good episode. So yeah, it was special. I was literally rewatched certain scene like 5 or 6 times, just like the cool that Uhura does at the end. Celia Gooding is absolutely fantastic.
Oh no!
Uh-oh.
Don't
No.
go, Giraffe.
I have a Nichelle Nichols plaster. I have a Zoe. What?
You
No,
froze
you're good.
it.
Keep going.
You-
Just keep
you're
going.
good,
Just
you're
keep
good,
going.
you're
You're
good.
good.
Oh, okay. I have a Nichelle Nichols poster. I have a Zoe Saldana poster over there. I have room for a Celia Gooding poster. I'm just waiting for it to come out so I can buy one.
I
and
told
have
everybody at the beginning of the show that you had a shrine. So
a holy trinity of the holy trinity of Uhuras, you know? Yeah, I do. I have
Giraffe.
a lot of stuff. Yes.
Did you think it was interesting when Pike said on her communication turn or something like that, like communication rotation, Uhura, Cadet Uhura? So
Why?
Well, because cadets
Miss Uhura, he calls her at one
Yeah.
point.
and Miss Ortega's as well.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
I meant more that it sounds like she's not going to be just there. Because he says communication rotation.
Yeah,
Well,
because she's a cadet.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that makes sense. I mean, but yeah, the scene in the turbolift was so absolutely perfect.
Loved it.
I love the references to and the idea that the shows talk to each other, and that's beautiful. We see Discovery, the whole thing with trauma. Star Trek has stopped ignoring past trauma, so I'm really happy about this. Like ignoring that everybody died, everybody disappeared, like old Trek. And
Like in Lower Decks.
So
You'll talk about it.
they're fine. They're fine. Because it's really something that make us rewatch again TOS and have all these like backstories. The Gorn. I need to rewatch Arena right now, like because I'm sure I'm gonna watch that episode in a totally different eye now, because the violence, that incredible like description that Lan does in sick bay. I'm so tired. Sorry, is so absolutely mind-boggling. And the Gorn are always a joke, right? And now I'm like, no, they're
No, not so much.
terrifying.
They're serious.
Yeah, and so that's what I expected from Strange New World, to have all this backstory that will make me rewatch episodes that I've seen 1,500 times and see them differently, with another attention to detail, with giving this sentence another. And again, the flying pancakes, the moment where Kirk is grief-stricken and Spock goes to talk to him and he cut him off and tell you don't understand or something like that. And you have these, like, Nimoy plays it like kind of like stepping out, and you're like, he does know, because he knows him, and because he lost his sister too. And like that whole show now, that whole episode has an totally different aura. Just this second here. So I can talk about Spock hair and like make it Spock and
We're
stuff,
gonna
but
get
I think
there,
I did something very very good and very deep. So I'm gonna quit while I'm ahead. oh, and did you notice that the species is the species from the kid from Children of Mars?
Children of Mars.
Oh,
And
I
from
didn't
the
catch
short
that.
track.
Oh,
Yep.
that's great.
Yeah, it's a
I
great
was
connection,
like,
right?
Nice. Yes, I'm quitting now. I'm ahead.
That was, everybody has done an incredible fucking job on their
No, I'm
initial
ahead,
thoughts.
like,
This is such
by toward myself, not toward the others.
You're on fire. You're on fire. I'm gonna preface this by saying that I put a lot of my heart and soul in an article that is on our blog right now. This pilot is really fucking special to me. Star Trek has been my home since I was in diapers. Star Trek has been my home since after my mom passed. Wherever Star Trek was my home, whether it was the Bridge of the Enterprise, whether it was the promenade on Deep Space Nine. I made a joke in that article, and I'll make the stupid joke on this pod. There's a joke in there somewhere about my home being in Neelix's mess hall, but no one wants that. There's something so special about this pilot, or I keep saying pilot because it feels that way, even though the Cage is the pilot, about this series premiere that really feels like you're coming home back to Star Trek. And listen, every single one of us, and Jessie included, is a fan of new Trek, and we love it all. In Discovery, I mean, listen, even flawed Picard has great moments. Lower Decks, Prodigy, amazing Star Trek. But this is just so Starfleet and Star Trek at its heart and soul. It's just such a special show. And like Eric, I do have notes, and I did something incredibly stupid and decided to look at every single fucking planet on the map in his ready room. So I am going to talk about those. Yeah, I did that.
I mean, it's what every Trekkie does. Look at the map. It's like you're just thinking, it's like, oh, look, I'm weird because I did this. Like, you're just being a Trekkie. Calm down. I'm sorry.
point. We all have our Easter egg little section that we haven't talked. Yeah.
The absolute first thing I love about this episode is like that Captain Pike isn't pulling a Riker or a Kirk and sleeping with a subordinate. He's sleeping with a fellow captain. Not breaking any rules. I just like that there's like two mutual people in the same command structure, just
someone who has higher access.
Yeah, and higher, like, yeah, she has the higher clearance, like enjoying some coffee, enjoying some pancakes. As the actress herself pointed out on Instagram, having some coitus because Captain Pike,
I was gonna say, like, that girl waking up to a bearded Captain Pike making pancakes and watching sci-fi. Like, I'm sorry,
it's not a bad day. It's not a bad day. I just love that moment. And like you just said, like the interesting, like, or that I think Eric, you just said, like, that captain has deeper clearance than even I think Bob April has, right? Like April had to get read in, and he has a lot of pull. So a little wild there, right? I wrote this after watching the pilot along with Giraffe in Chicago, and this is not the case anymore. I had originally written that the main theme has to grow on me, but I really like it. Holy shit, has that changed? I can't get it out of my head. I love it. It might be one of my favorite intro themes for Star Trek ever. It is so good. Ethan Peck. And I usually leave the Spock talking to Giraffe and the nakedness. But holy shit, is he just so fucking good in this role. And that entire scene with him and T'Pring on Vulcan is just so good. And she's amazing. And it's
She's
one
so
episode.
beautiful.
She's, yeah.
Yeah.
And one episode, and they have this amazing chemistry. And man, fuck that Vulcan guy who's like, you guys got to do that somewhere else. I'm like, no, they can have some PDA on Vulcan, right? That exists.
She brought so much depth to that character
Yeah.
that we had a whole episode about her already, and she got more in this that little bit than we've gotten
I
before.
swear it's gonna make me very upset when we meet Ston eventually. So
Yes, right? Because it has to happen.
He's gonna be hot too, so it's okay.
yeah, that's fine. Shit. But we all know T'Pring's coming out on top either way. It's fine. Or bottom. I guess she's on bottom in this episode, but it's fine.
Literally and figuratively. Shuttlecraft Stamets. I actually don't think that they named that shuttlecraft after Paul Stamets. I think they named it after the actual scientist Stamets. But it's still a really cool little Easter egg.
They both live
I
in
was
my heart.
actually talking with this about with Nami a week or so ago. I got some like little tiny hints of the Wrath of Khan score in there. I think she shot me down, but I'm gonna stand by it. I heard it. I love that the ship that Una takes is the USS Archer, just connecting all these worlds together.
Why you would send a ship named after the man who did the worst first contacts ever to do first contact?
Literally the worst captain to ever grace Starfleet and somehow created the Federation. Yeah, I'm with you.
Water polo, never again.
Yeah. It's like the man who literally had to like let his dog pee on the tree of the species doing first contact with. That's who you're gonna send your first contact ship after.
I love Spock and Pike's relationship so much. Immediately, just like once he transports on, the rapport is wonderful. It's so good. I really love the music beats during that convo, and Spock mentioning that he misses Michael. Like, listen. This show does come on the heels of Star Trek Discovery, and Star Trek Discovery is part of the reason. Whether I think people went too overboard of that or not with that is debated, but this show is here partly because of Discovery, and you have to acknowledge that in Strange New Worlds. And I love the connections. I love, going on what Jessie said, Christine Chapel. She is amazing. I want more. I want more and more and more. Elevator scene when they're going down to find the warp bomb. Is that Blue Skies that they're playing in the elevator music? Jazz? The jazz?
I didn't recognize or notice.
I swear it
No
was Blue
idea.
Skies.
I have
Someone
the episode
tell me
up.
I'm wrong.
I will listen to it as you talk. I literally have the episode up and I'm just like cutting through it as we were talking. So.
I also see these are all the little notes I take when I watch these things. I swear I heard the Discovery theme for a second. I'm also probably wrong. Nami can tell me if I'm wrong. If she's still in
We're
the
just
chat.
gonna see nope,
Listen,
nope.
you
Yeah,
just
nope, you're wrong.
hear whatever your heart tells
Exactly.
you to. Like,
I don't
it's
Where
okay.
my heart will take me.
It doesn't sound like it now that I'm
Yeah, no, I'm probably just psycho.
maybe.
Pike going
Busted.
full cowboy diplomacy, right? Like, fuck the Prime Directive. Fuck General Order 1. We're doing this my way.
Good.
It is, yeah, exactly.
From an actual
It's-
cowboy.
Oh,
Yeah.
Nami says you're not wrong.
Oh,
Really? Is it?
Oh,
I couldn't hear it, but I guess it was this. But yeah.
Ooh.
I don't know. I don't know
which
to
thing? Which one?
Yeah, which theory? I don't know.
I have too many music theories. This is a problem. I just love that, like, this show is embracing, as you'll find out in a couple later episodes, like, this show is embracing that this was, like, the Wild West of Starfleet still, and that is a beautiful thing. I wrote Enterprise GIF. I think that was to remind me to make a GIF of the Enterprise. I thought there was a Dr. Boyce reference somewhere in the episode, but I was also starting to read. Go ahead, Jesse. What were you going to say?
Oh, no, sorry, no, I interrupted. No, sorry.
You sure?
Go. Yeah, you say. Sorry.
I was just going to say, I was reading the Enterprise War very shortly after I watched the pilot, or I'm going to stop saying pilot eventually, the series premiere. So I could be wrong about that as well. So,
Gotcha. I just
Go ahead.
wanted a quick note because since we're in this spot, but I didn't mean to interrupt you as you were in the middle.
You're allowed to
like,
interrupt. We interrupt each other all the time.
All
on
the
this show.
time.
But
Yeah.
if we're talking about references, my favorite reference in the entire episode is when they're going in the elevator scene on the way up to the bridge. And he says, he's like talking about getting another number one. And he sort of goes, I've always felt uncomfortable about getting another. And you think he's going to say woman because it's the reference to the original pilot.
Oh.
He's going to say, like, I always felt uncomfortable having a woman on the bridge. And he's just saying number one. But it's like, it's a cheap little reference to that very uncomfortable line from the pilot. And I loved it.
Wow.
I never noticed that. That's
awesome.
amazing.
That's a great pickup. Holy crap.
Because, he says it in the same exact way. So, yeah.
Finally, I just love, and again, things we'll hear later on. There's this, you get the space, the final frontier from Anson Mount. You get captain's logs. You get logs, logs. So important to Star Trek. And he says, my something about my home, or Montana and his ranch being his hearth, but Enterprise is my home. Enterprise is my home, and it is my home. And then finally, just like every fan who was like the mention of Kirk at the beginning of the episode, probably they better not fucking bring on Jim Kirk in this episode. They better not. I'll never watch this show again. And it's Sam Kirk. I'm like, gotcha. Love it. Love that it's Sam Kirk. I can't wait to explore
with a wonderful
more.
mustache.
Oh my God.
I am going so over, but I'm going to try and read these as quickly as possible. The planet Easter eggs that I found very quickly: Cardassia Prime, Sigma Draconis, Perithia, Talos, Aris Array, Trill, Bajor, Wolf 359, Babel, Vulcan, Tau Ceti, Tellar, Denoblia, Organia, Deep Space K7, and many others. That's what I got in the first viewing. I didn't write it any more down. Let's get into some deep dives of this episode, and we'll go from the top and go in the same order as we started. We've known for a while, right, that Pike was going to be shooketh about knowing his fate. And we start the season off with him and a fellow captain, friend with benefits. When April reactivates him to find Una, we see, we see him on board the Enterprise, how this haunts him. How do you feel about the way that the show in the series premiere kind of tackles that, and how this crew can help him use that as a strength by the end of the episode? Jesse, we'll start with you.
God, always putting me on the spot.
Always.
Well, I like that it's a good like intro to La'an, right? That it's like her having an awareness of her death that like kind of keeps her going forward, and like having an awareness that, but then that also ties into the kind of the plot of the episode about the planet, about like, this is what could happen to you. This is your planet's possible death on the horizon. It sort of thematically ties into that. But I also like that it's I really liked Hawk, how you put it, where it was like, this is the death of the life that he knows. Because one thing I will say about the storyline that I'm always uncomfortable with slightly is there's a slight ableism to it, where it's like, oh, he's going to end up in a wheelchair and how horrible that is. But I like that it's put in a way where it's just like, it's him sort of coming to terms with like his life's going to change, and that's sort of horrifying and terrifying. And so I like that it sort of skirts the line of trying to discuss it that way, and him sort of coming to terms with that. So I like how you put that, Hawk, in a cool way. So yeah, I like that it just sort of thematically weaves throughout the entire episode in terms of like coming to terms with being aware of your fate, but that doesn't have to dictate or control you. Because I think that we all kind of know, like we all know we're going to die one day. We may not know exactly when.
I'm never going to die.
Okay, Jim Kirk.
But yeah, no, I think it's just a cool thematic through line throughout all of it. And I like that it's a complex enough feeling, but nebulous enough feeling that I think it can easily be a good thematic through line for multiple different stories that he can sort of bounce off in the future of being like, oh, learn a new way of how to handle it. And so I just like that it gives him a nice grounding to go off into the rest of this show's plots.
Yeah. And like looking at the way the Hawk said it, the life that he knows, like he's a cowboy, like he's outdoorsy. Everything that he loves would just be gone that one day. Like that must be terrifying. And he knows that he's saving people, which is what he does. But it's you can't help but have that on your mind. He knows it's 10 years away, but time is fleeting. It just goes. It could be a blink of the eye, and it happened. For me, if I knew, like, I wonder if because he knows that this is the moment, will that eventually make him feel a little bit invincible? Like he knows that he can't die if that's his future. I wonder if they're going to tie that in. I think that'd be interesting.
Because we saw that get kind of referenced in Discovery season 2's finale. He felt that a little bit.
Yeah. But yeah, I love that. It's definitely something that's going to weigh on him a lot because it seems to be on his mind all the time. And if it affects his decisions in a good way, like it did at the end of this episode, like that's awesome. But I would love to also see it affect them negatively because it can't always be good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Hawk?
Yeah. I started thinking about another aspect of sci-fi, the X-Files, and that because there's an episode that is kind of features a character who's contradictory to Pike in this aspect, and that the episode is Clyde Bruckman's Final Repose, where Mulder and Scully meet an insurance salesman who knows how everyone is going to die in that, and it just drains the entire joy out of his life in that. We initially see Pike in this episode in a retreatist mode in that, away in his cabin, away, not even sure if he's going to go back out in that. I like how it's a friend in crisis and that actually motivates him to get out there, and actually when he's actually around his friends and these new people and that, he actually seems to reinvigorate in that. So even with the knowledge there and that, it's like it's interactions with other people, other cultures, that is going to enhance and give his life meaning in that. It's like that knowledge is going to be there in that, no matter what in that. But he seems like the kind who's who can't sit back, who needs to interact. I mean, like the end, it's we're talking about like Starfleet and its General Order 1 and non-interference and that, and how it's really just a rule that bureaucrats set up in that, it's like versus like the practicalities in that, it's like their damage was already done. They did the damage in that, and Pike, with this knowledge in hand of what his life is going to turn out to be, and that it says, no, it's like, I'm going to give them a taste in that, and they're going to have to make a decision in that, are they going to, simply let it happen and blow themselves back into the Stone Ages? Or are they going to embrace the life that they do have and go forward like him?
Nice. Draft?
I think for me, there was a nice parallel, but it was a nice pendant to Picard with this idea that, Picard needs to accept his past and he's part of his past by putting back the key. And knowing that it is going to happen and it needs to happen, and that his choice, that now it's actually his choice that this will happen. And I think Pike is going to do the same thing. He's going to end up in front of that door at that moment, and he's going to make the choice, but it's going to be his choice, knowingly knowing what is going to happen. So I think there's a nice parallel, nice pendant, because one is in the past, one is in the future, but still accepting that you're the only one responsible for your moment, which is something that most of us poor mortals actually we don't really get to do. We don't get to be responsible for like choosing our past trauma or choosing the moment of our death. So it kind of make them like extraordinary captains. I don't know. And we see Michael doing the same thing to having to pass that door, right? And jump into the future, hoping that she's going to save everybody. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of incredible, like the superhumans, like being able to do that, to make that decision and making us wonder, like, what would you do? Would you jump in and save the cadets and like end up in the beeping chair, or like, would you do it? Would you put back the key that you know will lead to you and all the trauma you're gonna have, you seeing your dead mother and all the trauma you're gonna have in your life? Like, would you do it? Like, I don't know. It's like something And well, it's interesting. I like when Star Trek messes with our head and make us like think about, the end and
Well, and I want to go off what you just said because LLAP81 on Twitch brings up a great point. Saw someone on Twitter say how back in the 60s, Star Trek was a beacon of hope in dark times, and how Strange New World is coming out in a very pivotal moment in history.
Mhm.
yeah, and like these people on the planet are like, oh, we're gonna choose not to blow up each other. But am I the only one who were like, if somebody would
Yes.
come today and be like, hey, listen, our planet got blown up, don't blow up each other, and we'll be like, fuck you, bam, like.
There
We're
are
that
only,
stupid.
If
there
it
are
was
only
an
two
alien,
factions.
I think I would.
But-
yeah, right.
There's only two factions on that planet. There are many more here that would want to blow up each
Also,
other.
also keep in mind he did have the Enterprise there. It did take him being like, "Hey, look, I could blow you all up if I really
yeah.
wanted
That's true.
to."
Yeah.
He did take that. So I feel like if someone came here today, it's like, "Yo, figure it out, or I'll blow you up." Be like, "Okay." yeah,
Jesse,
yeah.
we've all watched Independent Day. We know how that goes down.
Walking slowly said on Twitter, we'd fuck it up.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we do. Like, come on. We know global warming is gonna kill each like everybody, and we're still like, I'm gonna drive my car to work. Like,
This is a great standalone story, which is going to be most of the episodes of Stranger Worlds. It's going back to that episodic format. What do we think about it? Listen, like at the end of the day, if there were people who thought this was going to be their Trek who were like right leaning, right, like you were going to be unfortunately very proven wrong by the end of this episode because it's a very progressive story. What do we think about that? And also this wonderful connection that it makes necessarily, I think, to Such Sweet Sorrow, Part 2, going back to the top.
when are we talking about Naked Spock?
We're not talking about Naked Spock.
I love that it's episodic, but that doesn't mean that everything's going to be disconnected, right? Like that's not what Trek is. Even the older Trek, episodic in nature, but there's still connecting points. Like that's why we get Pike's trauma carrying forward, and I'm sure other things like the Gorn thing with La'an, I'm sure it'll be carried on. We got to find out something about that. And the fact that right wing progressive Star Trek fans confuse me because I don't understand how it's possible. I just don't.
I could go into a long history of why I think that it is possible, but yeah, it
confuses
still
me.
Yeah.
I don't even know where I was going with that. I've been drinking a lot of tea.
That's okay.
Yeah. I mean, I'm really liking this episodic storytelling. Like, it's nice to just get that all encapsulated in 1 week. Just to get like one story every week and just know that we can like end it there and it can tell a concise story. Because don't get me wrong, I love Discovery and I still want like what I appreciate about Discovery and Picard, even if like I think they've had varying degrees of success with serialized stories, that it's taking a risk, doing something different. And I think that going back to an episodic format is also in a weird way its own level of risk, but also allows them to like touch upon so many different things that I think necessarily Discovery or Picard can do, which will allow the show to be much more concise and much more targeted. And when you're talking about it being progressive, I think like this way will allow them to be very like concise and like, here we're going to hit this specific point and really make this specific statement. Because when you look at something like Discovery, it's with its whole thing with the DMA was touching upon ideas of mental health, and it was sort of using this big grand idea to like have these big sweeping themes. Whereas here it's like, all right, this episode is going to be talking about our polarization. This episode can talk about like something else political. It can talk about deportation. It can talk about immigration. It can talk about like all these different things that I think will allow it to be very targeted in that. And then also just have fun, weird, strange stories too, which is something that I kind of missed. Like I want the episode where like Data learns how to play a violin or something, like some weird nonsense, like the
Murder pancakes.
yeah,
Telling
flying
you.
murder pancakes. Give me the weird stuff. So yeah, I'm really liking that. And again, I think also just like you said, like, and I think I mentioned earlier too, that its connection to Discovery, I appreciate because it's not people, I think there was probably a willingness for some people to like come into this show and have it be great and be like, well, see, it's because they didn't do all wokeness like Discovery and all that jazz. And I'm like, no, well, now you can't ignore it. It's part of it. It's ingrained into it. And I like that it's not embarrassed or trying to shy away from that. And I like that. And nor should it be, because Discovery is freaking great too. So I'm just very pleased by that.
Anybody else on this?
I like the idea that we can touch upon different social issues and different topics on like the longer storylines. Like that's what I loved about Weird Ass Enterprise or or Old Trek.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I thought you were done. Sorry.
I'm done. No, go, Jeff. Go.
No, and I was talking today, and I was chatting today, and actually we're in an interesting era because like these different series are really doing something different, and I feel Discovery is really the experimentation room, the laboratory where they're gonna try these really deep connection between people, these characters that have backstories, representation, black women, captains, Adira and Gray relationship. So everybody's like, oh yeah, it's woke. Wait, yeah, okay, you're used to see yourself in series like all the time. You know what? You're gonna dare to do one show when you don't see yourself. That's what I've been doing all my life. For all the shows.
Yeah.
So leave me Discovery and go enjoy Picard and go enjoy Strange New World, because even if Picard and Strange New Worlds still have representation, they're less dairy than Discovery. And I mean, if it's what it takes for the franchise to please everybody, good. But I'm very glad I have Discovery. Very, very glad. And they just, I feel Lower Decks and Discovery are really the experimentation rooms where they're gonna push, they're gonna do new TV, new storylines, new ways to tell stories, and I'm glad about it. Sometimes they don't really stuck the landing. Well, whatever.
That's what we need. Like you're not gonna. You gotta. What was it? You gotta break a few sticks in a bundle. I think. What was the other thing too? Is someone mentioned. I think Eric, you mentioned like why conservative fans of Star Trek exist. And the reason is, and it's what I still think this show is doing that, and I appreciate it for it. And why it's breaking that down is the reason I think conservative fans exist and why they love shows like The Orville, for example, is because when you look at shows like Next Generation specifically, it was still very much catered to a specific viewpoint of a straight cis white dude who, don't get me wrong, I'm not vilifying straight cisgender white dudes. I love you. But but if you looked at that show, everything else from that perspective had to be viewed as an other. Women had to be viewed as an other. Gayness had to be viewed as an other. Sometimes it was very clearly coded in alienness. Like literally in the second episode of TNG, Black people were shown as just being aliens in a very racist storyline. And then gayness was also coded as sexuality.
And biracialism. People who are biracial are always half alien.
Exactly. And so that's why conservative fans exist, because when they look at something like Discovery, it's a show that is allowing people's identities to be more included inclusively. Where you look at characters like the queer found family that's in that show, it's like it's allowing queer people to exist as themselves, not an alien metaphor, but as ourselves. So you get like characters like Gray just casually mentioning their transition or his transition, and saying like, oh yeah, it's just like, oh, it's an offhanded thing, but it's not coded in the alien metaphor. It's just part of his experience. And so that, and so it's not otherized, it's just made as part of it. And then they don't have the lead character being the white dude who gets to be the one who leads them all. And so I look at Strange New Worlds, and what I've really appreciated about it is like, while it does have this cis straight white dude leading it, and I love Pike to death, he's the perfect man ever.
Seriously, and be still my beating heart. And I am a straight white cis man, and my God, if Anson Mount gave me the opportunity.
But I just like, you look at the rest of the cast, like I look at behind on Hawk's poster there, like there's so much diversity in that, both in like body types and genders, in race, in being disabled, like with Hemmer. Like I think that there's a lot of like really diversity still in the show. And so I think as long as the show doesn't only centralize that one viewpoint and say like, oh, only like cis straight white dudes existence gets to be seen as ourselves, and I don't think the show is doing that, then I think it's still going to be the view of that Star Trek deserves and needs to be today. So
Don't you think though it allows people to still watch it this way?
Oh, 100%. There's 100%. I'm sure there's already a video on YouTube by somebody being like, see, this show's good because they didn't go woke and put a white dude in the. Someone's going to take it that way.
Yeah.
But
when Discovery doesn't let you, it just doesn't let you do that at all. Yeah.
They will. And that's, again, why I appreciate Discovery. But that's them missing the point, and they're always going to miss the point because they need to feel their outrage machine. But yeah, you're not wrong. Discovery will not make you look away from that, and this show can allow you to miss that. But screw those people. They don't get the message.
Yeah. I remember what I was saying at my initial point with the episodic nature of this series is that my wife isn't a Star Trek fan, like not a stan like we are, but she'll watch every so often, and I think this is going to be the perfect show for her because she can just dip in and out and be like, oh, I do like this, and I appreciate. She loves like deeper meanings in TV shows, like this show will obviously has. So someone who can come in, see one episode, maybe miss a couple, and then come back and still appreciate it going forward. I think that's a beautiful thing. They did a wonderful job making it that way.
One of our collective members on Twitch, Talix, had to ask you, Jesse, now why did you have to bring up Code of Honor?
Code of Honor. Code of Honor is fascinating because it makes explicit the problem, right, with the older Trek. It is a really racist episode, but and it's got problems beyond just like coding and alien metaphor. Like it leans into very racist tropes in general about like, oh, we're gonna get the white woman, but it literally showcases the thinking that that was endemic to that series. And again, I say this is a huge fan of Next Generation, and this is the point that I'm making my Sex and Star Trek video, right? Like it's the fact that only a certain viewpoint got to make the show. It was Gene Roddenberry, cis straight white dude, passing the show off to someone like Rick Berman, who was another cis straight white dude, and him also allowing like Brandon Braga and stuff like that to be the lead viewpoints of the show, and it not breaking out of that. And that's why the shows got stale and the franchise kind of got ended, not because that they were necessarily bad or that a cis straight white dude's point of view is a bad one necessarily, but the point of Star Trek has always been to be diverse and be inclusive, and the series kind of failed that behind the scenes at times. And so when you look at something like Code of Honor, it makes that idea explicit. It's like when someone is able to say, oh, for this alien race, we'll just make them black people, that's the problem, because you're seeing other people as alien and other. And so it's again, not saying that viewpoint's bad or that Star Trek Next Generation's bad, but it showcases why that show sometimes doesn't age perfectly. So.
Very fair. I'm gonna bring it back to Giraffe because she's been wanting to talk about this for the past hour. Right from the word go, pretty much, we get this awesome scene on Vulcan where T'Pring proposes to Spock. How do we feel about Strange New Worlds exploring their relationship that will eventually lead to Amok Time?
Oh, you're unleashing her.
Yeah, I am unleashing the beast, and the fact that both seem to kind of like bend the rules, right? When it comes to the whole Vulcans don't have emotions deal.
Okay, so first of all, everything is so fucking gorgeous. Like, oh my god, like even the restaurant and like very like Discovery 4 Nivar stuff, like it's beautiful. It's like she's gorgeous, he's hot, everything.
Just like sweaty Vulcan sex all the day.
Oh my god. And I love the fact that for some weird reason they need to have candles everywhere. Like this planet is already hot as balls. What are you doing? Like like, look at this room. Who went and like light up every single candles, because you know they're not automatic, because you know that's gonna be some Vulcan bullshit that they have like to light it up like every single one by Surak or something. Like, okay, so that's incredible. T'Pring, oh my god, I'm so glad they're bringing her back, because Amok Time, it's one episode and she steals the show. I was like, oh, she's so beautiful, all immortal in Amok Time. Like, oh, she has this presence, like that that dress, that like moment where she puts her hand in front of the gong. Everything. And I'm like, that's an
I
episode.
love that I could literally see and like feel that moment.
Carly
right now,
Fee.
too. Yeah.
Fuck yes. Bad space bitch. Incredible every day. So like that she's back and that they're giving her such a already in like a minute. I want to know everything about her. The way she's like, that's an excellent idea. I was like, yes, get it, girl. Again, fantastic. And you see too, I like the fact that you see Vulcan matriarchy because we know that, T'Pau is the head of the house. And you see that women are, the one asking for marriage, that Spock is like, I thought it would never happen. Like, oh boy, still no clue. And he's going to have no clue for so long. And it's incredible that in so few seconds, they managed to create everything. I want to know how she knows Chris Pike. Hi, Chris.
Yeah,
Like,
so casual, right?
I also just love it. She's just like, oh, he was about to be naked.
Yeah, and she's like,
Fuck
she's
you,
like
Chris.
a half naked, and she comes and like dressed up. Hi, Chris, and I'm like,
You're twat swatting me, Chris. It's fine.
and
I want to know what the
puts
hell is going on.
it puts so much. How can I say that? Enjeu. I don't know. I don't speak English anymore. Like so much weight to what they're gonna do with the story. Like, where is it gonna go? Why is he so...
MC writes it's Spock blocking.
Spock blocking. That's good. That's good. Yeah. She's looking for his Spock, if you know what I mean. Never mind.
How they're gonna not rewrite but add all these layers to T'Pring. I want to know how we go from this T'Pring to the T'Pring was like, you know what? Anyway, I win.
Yeah.
The most logical woman, and we see she's not really logical. Like she has something. She has some flair, some dare, So what happened? And just for that, I'm gonna continue watching because I want to know. And I need to speak about Spock hair. I'm really sorry because there are people counting on me. No,
yes.
I know it by heart because I discussed the conversation.
I hope you did. Okay.
Yeah. So there's something going on with Spock hair that's very interesting in TOS, in Discovery, and now in Strange New World. We know that Nimoy refused to shave for Pattern of Force. It was a huge argument between him and Gene Roddenberry because why don't argue about shaving? So he refused to shave, and it became kind of like canon that like Spock has hair, right?
Uh-oh.
What?
We lost
Jessie for a second. We'll get her back.
Okay, I continue. Okay, I'm on my.
Keep going. We'll get Jessie back.
The thing that is interesting is that in Discovery Season 2, we see him like full-birded against his father. Absolutely no, like smashing Freedy's chest, yelling at his sister, like Spock being like, I'm going to be emotional. I'm going to be human. And it's him with a lot of hair, right? And now he's like trying to be the perfect little Vulcan boy, no hair. So is it a code? Is it something? I'm looking forward. I want to know. And he shaves back when he like goes back to the Enterprise after Discovery, right? In such thorough
I've just learned so much about Spock's shaving habits in the past 5 minutes, and I'm happy to.
That's why
I feel
you
bad
come
that I
here.
jumped. My internet like died for a hot minute.
You want me to do it again? I can do it again.
No one wants that. No one wants that.
Also, something to note too. Someone mentioned like his hair changes throughout the episode. Something they mentioned in mission not mission the Ready Room today is that they actually filmed the pilot at the end and the beginning, so that's probably partially why like the actor's
because the
hair
sets
changed.
weren't done.
Head canon, he just cuts his bang by himself and he fucks up every so often. So
yeah.
I feel like this is draft subject, but I'll let anybody who wants to go off about more Vulcan sex go off before we move on to our next segment.
I'm interested to see why T'Pring decides to go for someone else. Like, was it because Spock and Nurse Chapel have this weird thing that they keep showing in the trailers? I really hope not. But
my guess on it is we saw in the trailers, and this would fit Spock too, is Spock has always felt distanced from Vulcan culture. So I do wonder if like his accepting of like this marriage offer is him like trying to live up to Vulcan expectations that he actually doesn't really want to, but it's just him like going through the motions of what's expected of him. And to be fair though, that might be me being biased because that would be the queer reading of it. If you're putting I honestly like to put a queer reading onto Spock, not just in the sense of like, oh, he wants to fuck Kirk, but like I think that you could get like an interesting sort of queer read on the character if you look at him like as like suppressing some of himself, being closeted, or like coming to terms with like different sides. You don't put like a biracial reading and things on him as well, but the queer reading of the character, and what I hope would be the case, is that like he's just accepting her marriage proposal because that's what's expected of him as a Vulcan. But then he's going to sort of distance himself more, being like, I'd rather just be in Starfleet. I don't want to have to do this like fucking thing. It's very uncomfortable. Just like being my asexual little Spock self. So
I want to read. Hold on,
Just
1 second. I want to read Buick's comment because
yeah, I was gonna say that.
Oh no, then you do it, please.
Okay, so Brick says, well, as a biracial person, I can definitely say that the first time someone from each of my backgrounds was interested was a special moment for me. And that's something that Star Trek needs to stop. I'm gonna go there, but like I can be or human or Vulcan is bullshit. They need to stop with this. God damn it. We're not or. Like that's what everybody wants us to be. But no, I'm both. End of it. And Spock is both. And that's
what I like about his. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was say that's what I love about his arc as Leonard Nimoy, and now we're seeing the beginning of it here with like he ends in Star Trek 2009, literally telling his younger self, being like, you accept your whole totality of you as like human and Vulcan, and that's like his arc is coming to terms with it, which I like. Yeah,
we had to wait for 2009, but Star Trek has like terrible records of like. Speaking of biracialism, I'm not gonna go the Bilana Torres.
That's the one. Oh, you can be split into Klingon and a human. Oh,
I'm gonna kill my baby because I don't want it to be Klingon. Like what? So I do hope they're gonna show this growth in Spock through Strange New World that we see in TOS too. He's like laughing, he's like winking, rolling his eyes, having like all these moments. So I hope it's gonna grow. I really hope so. But yeah, sorry.
Anybody else on this, Hawk?
I guess like the first indication is when versus Pike in his cabin, and that when the communicator is going off and he just ignores it, until it basically stops ringing. And that the moment Spock hears the communicator go off, and that when he
immediate.
I have a duty.
He fobs off sex with to prick. He could have easily just let that go to voicemail and that. No.
Do you think they have ringtones for those things?
Why wouldn't they?
I hope so.
Yeah. It's like I always do that annoying little chirp all the dang time.
A little bit of Latinum to get that new ringtone.
Nami is in the chat. Nami, we need ringtones for that.
Yes. Nami, do some ringtones for the show.
That'd be amazing. I also think with Spock, there's a bit of the Odysseus thing going on in that, the wanderlust. He's never been rooted in Vulcan and that. And Vulcan, to be honest, has never really given him a reason to be rooted in their culture and that, because it's always, they've always kept him at arm's length and that, because of his, biracial heritage. It's like it was always a constant struggle for him trying to prove his worth in that, so much so that he spent so much time alone. Remember, Sark, was out, in Unification, and I would talk about Spock disappearing for days and weeks and that, and going into the mountains and that. He has lived this kind of an isolated life in that, and he's really found his family in the stars and that. And I think this is where the division comes between him and T'Pring and that. And I hope they really explore it.
Yeah,
genuinely. Yeah,
I totally agree. Real quick on the chat, DM, I'm gonna hopefully not butcher this. DM Femi says, "Blue skies, faith of the heart, ringtones, do it." And,
Yes,
Nami,
make
Nami
Faith of the Heart
also
explicit canon.
exactly. Nami also seconds Faith of the Heart.
Yes.
So, you have that. Guys, we're gonna move on to our new segment. We're gonna do this every single week for the next 10 weeks with Stranger Worlds. It is our crew member of the week. So the person that showed kind of like, was the best of the best in this episode of Strange New Worlds. And we'll start with you, Giraffe, your crew member of the week.
Uhura. God damn yes. Why not? Okay, can we just give a moment to the girl who just warped her butt to a new planet that nobody knows anything and managed to know everything about the sport game, be able to talk about the sport game in the guy's language, in the turbo lift, recognize that he's from there and be making some theories and making him all comfortable. She's the real first contact in that. For real.
MVP.
She's the
MVP.
only one that nailed that first contact. She was friendly. The guy was like, oh yeah. And then he got jumped by Shadow.
Yep.
There was no tomorrow. And she hypo sprayed him not once, but twice.
Yep.
So yeah, you go, girl.
Love it.
See?
Hawk, your crew member of the week.
It's got to be Leon, and that she really brings something to the crew, and that something that Pike pretty desperately needs on this crew, and that if he's kind of second guessing himself on when to be defensive and when to be aggressive, and that it's I think her instincts are going to help him make the right choice, and that as to when to be protective. So
Nice.
Yeah,
Eric.
Agreed, 100%. I was going to say Pike, but I'm going to say La'an just because she's a new addition. She's quick thinking. She's decisive. She knows what she needs to do. There's that little bit of tragic history, which is sort of informing all of her choices, or at least it feels like that.
Yes.
And she's the most interesting to me right now. She's the big mystery that I just want to solve. And I can't wait.
I love it. Jesse, your crew member of the week.
I think I could easily say Pike, but I'm gonna go with Nurse Chapel. For the same reasons that you said, with just jumping out and hypo spraying the guy. But I also just love something that I didn't mention is when the guy gets up and runs away. If you go back and watch, she smiles.
She's so happy, right? She's so excited.
She's oh, I get to play tag on the ship. It's gonna be great. So no, I love her weird. She has this weird energy, and I love the weird energy. And she's just a lot of fun. So I have a suspicion that Nurse Chapel might end up being my surprise favorite character of the show. Again, not a sentence I ever would have thought I would say. So. Yeah.
She has one of my favorite lines in the episode where they're like, oh, you do genetic modification. She's like, and you boss around a ship.
Yeah. So good. So
we also didn't talk about how she invented all of the space
genome
changing stuff.
sequencing.
From all the other Star Trek shows, which is nice.
I just rewatched the Enterprise incident where Kirk becomes a Romulan, and I was like,
Chapel,
and
baby.
she's just, by the way, she's just standing behind him, being like the boss, Majel Barrett, leaning into the door like she does. And I was like, yes.
I'm with Jesse. Nurse Chapel is my crew member of the week. I love her. I love how confident she is. I love her attitude. I love that she's just yeah, I'm gonna fuck around with your genome and I'm gonna wink at you to make you feel more comfortable. I get it. She's amazing. I love that. She just runs to that transport. She's just so excited to be on the Enterprise, or her is talking the dude up about his sports, and he just comes out of that turbolift, doesn't see a thing coming. Then bam, turbo lift with the hypo spray. She's a boss. I love her. I can't wait to see more. I love Jess Bush. I think she's amazing.
Yep.
So it's Chapel for me. Another new segment of our show that we're going to be doing every week, and I feel like this isn't really a spoiler, so I'm just going to tell you. This is going to stay at 0 for a little bit, folks. It is our new red shirt counter, which also comes with a new sound effects.
You're my new chief. Go put on a red shirt.
With the ominous music, and Jesse as our guest. You get to do
I'm wearing a red shirt, so I'm kind of anxious right now.
You, as our guest, get to read our red shirt counter, which is a little, anticlimactic.
0. Yeah.
0.
Woo!
Dun, dun, dun.
0 red
I
shirt.
am competent.
does.
I did the thing.
And one more new segment. It is the Spock sideburn meter going from Pride of Sarek to most illogical. Where are Spock's sideburns in the premiere episode?
They were fine, I think.
They were
Pride of
okay.
Sarek, right?
Yeah, it was his hair that was more
Sweet,
weird
right?
than anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. All right, guys, let's rate this episode out of 10 pairs of alien shorts because the spots have to go all the way down, right? Jesse, we'll start from the top. Go with you. Your rating out of 10.
I will give it 9 out of 10. Honestly, the only reason I don't give it 10 out of 10 is because I expect that the show is only going to go up for here, so it needs room to go to 10 out of 10. But I think it was just an all-around, just like solid episode. It's so rare when I don't really have any major notes, really at all. Like it just hit every beat. It reintroduced us to these characters, told the story, and I think it just was a lot of fun and had a biting social commentary in it as well. So 9 out of 10.
Nice. Eric?
If I could give it more than 10, I would. This is the perfect premiere for a TV show.
Goes all the way to 11.
for it's my favorite out of any Star Trek show. I love this episode. I think it's deep. I think the characters are interesting. It doesn't tell you everything, but enough that makes you want to come back for more.
Fuck.
Yeah, I know. I'm a little worried about giving it like a perfect rating, but
Don't worry. You're
you
fine.
know what? I'm going ahead with it in that because there really was nothing I could find to complain about the episode in that. So I'm going 10 out of 10 and that, maybe that, it's like obviously the show will have room to grow. It will also have room to suck at some points in that,
Hey, we better get our freaking sex salamander baby episode. If we don't, I'll be upset. Yeah.
Nami, tell the writers.
Tell the writers, Nami. Giraffe.
I'm gonna tweet if you want. They read my tweets,
That's right.
10 out of 10. They understood the assignment. It was efficient. It was beautiful. It was working. The characters were incredible. I want to rewatch it 5, 6, 7 times. For me, it's as enjoyable as the episodes of Lower Decks when we saw the first season.
Yes.
That's like
Yes.
insane fun, when I don't have to think too much. I'm just I'm gonna be honest that I'm just like, oh yes, naked Spock, Chappelle jumping a dude, Uhura being awesome. Like it's just fun. It's just absolutely incredible. So 10 out of 10. I'm gonna be this person though. Sorry, it's not my favorite theme.
That's okay. It doesn't have to be.
I still like number 1 Prodigy, then Discovery.
Prodigy is still number 1. Prodigy is still
then
number
Strange
1.
New World, I think. Yeah,
it's
I was
still
a bit
really-
like, I like the TOS references at the end, but yeah, that is.
As long as they don't add a tambourine anywhere, I'm happy.
I think they should put lyrics on the.
Under the starlight.
Please, God, no. Over on Twitch, Haven gives it a 9 out of 10 shirtless Spocks, and MC gives it a 10 out of 10. It was so satisfying. Maybe the ranking will change when we get more of a scale, but it was amazing, and I cried over how good it was. Me too. It was worth all the hype. Nami gives a musical note. And Joaquin Silly, 9 out of 10. Uptight Vulcan waiters, hell yes. Shatterhead, 2049, 10 out of 10 for me. I love all current Trek, but Strange New Worlds took me back to my childhood days growing up on TOS reruns. It makes me feel like a kid again. And that is where I will go. 10 out of 10. And that could change, but I've watched this episode I think 6 times already. I'm gonna watch it probably with the collective after this. It's so fucking good. When I tell you that today has been the perfect day, and honestly, like, no bullshit, like whatever day we watched it in Chicago on my little laptop, like after the day it ended, like that was a beautiful day too. Like the fact that it's here, it is a 10 out of 10. I cannot find a single thing wrong to say about this episode.
It was nice watching it back then, but now we get to share it with people, and that makes it a little bit more special. Yeah. Right?
Nami says 9 out of 10 for me. I think the score could have been better.
Lies.
I love you.
Nice.
All right,
Now I
folks.
feel bad giving it a 9 out of 10.
No,
I
don't.
was like,
It's
oh,
a
10 out of 10.
a 9 out of 10. A 9 out of 10 is still a
good.
great score.
Yeah. Believe me,
Oh,
we
man.
didn't give that high scores. Like,
Oh,
in
if you can go and listen to our scores for the Picard finale.
Yeah.
I think I scored it too
man.
high.
I don't dislagree with you on that. So yeah.
Yeah, let's get into the subspace to pull and mailbag, which also has a new sound effect.
Shipwide, cadet everywhere.
Aye, sir.
Yeah, you like that? Yes, yeah. And Giraffe, this has become your segment.
I'm sorry.
Oh, are you loving it? No,
No,
please.
no. Just it reminded me of the scene in the episode where like he's shipwide and he says like no one's dying today, and then I would
Yes.
just be like a crew member being like, who said we might die today? What? I'm sorry.
Do I need to go change my red shirt to blue?
Yeah, I was like, what? That was a
Again.
possibility? What?
read the book Red Shirts by John Scalzi, which is all about this, about red shirts freaking out because they know they're gonna die. It's incredible. I'm on the hook for the tipple.
As always.
Okay. Subspace tipple in mailbag. So just the tipple, sorry. We asked Drake Twitter what they thought about the premiere, and this is what they had to say. 90% said, hit it. 4% said, fascinating. 4% wish it were that easy. 2% said, not all I'd hoped. Who are you?
But at the same time, that's also like our most lopsided poll
Yeah,
ever.
yeah, that's
Like everybody loved it. Everybody loved it. Let's get into the mailbag portion. Jesse, as our guest, we always like to have our guests get into our mailbag. Would you like to read Shatterhand's mailbag,
I
please?
can. It was everything I hoped it would be, and then some. Anson Mount was amazing as always. The chemistry between characters is electric. There was a lot packed into that hour, but it all felt well paced. While some of the fandom may get annoyed at the thematic message in this episode, I felt it was handled well, not too overwrought or in your face. I love the story's connection to the events of Discovery's second season, both in terms of Pike's struggle with the knowledge of his fate and how the Disco season 2 finale's events shaped the planet's society. I love the cast, the sets, the music. It was as close to perfect as I could ever expect, and I'm craving more.
I love it. That's so good.
Nice.
All right, MC wrote, this was the best Star Trek premiere in my opinion. It was just so good. The continuity nods, like the USS Archer, surprise April and Sam Kirk. How amazing my girl Uhura was from moment one. I'm intrigued by number one and La'an's relationship, and I've got my shipper goggles just glued to my face. I can't wait to get to know all the crew. One of the big fandom conversations has been Spock and T'Pring. I have a theory. They started their courtship in earnest immediately after Such Sweet Sorrow. Timeline is weird, but that's never stopped them before. Michael's last words to Spock were to find that person who seems farthest from you and reach for them. In the immediate aftermath of losing Michael, Spock is feeling his most emotional and reaching towards Vulcan, including the Vulcan tradition of betrothal. Does feel like what is furthest from him. So it's really a bit of a rebound relationship, which never turned out well. I'm just so in love with this show to the point writing this has given me a hankering to watch it again.
That's
That's
love
a
that.
great
That's what it
theory.
should,
Good.
right? Yeah, it is a really good theory. It really is.
Good analysis.
Hawk.
And NY Raleigh, I wrote, I have to agree with MC that was the best Star Trek premiere ever. The speech Pike gave to the warring factions is something that we need to take heart in this increasingly divisive time. I came away from this episode with a smile and a sense of hopefulness that I haven't gotten from watching a TV show in a long while. I love the chemistry between Anson Mount and Ethan Peck. I can readily believe from their scenes together why a decade later Spock would risk his life to bring Pike to Talos 4. It seems like they're blending the theme of Pike dealing with the knowledge of his fate while keeping it episodic. That sounds like a good balance of having standalone stories while acknowledging ongoing character arcs. After all that teasing about Lieutenant Kirk reporting in, I had a sigh of relief when they said Samuel Kirk instead of James Kirk. I wonder what stories Lieutenant Kirk had for his brother about serving under Spock.
One's about to pring.
Yeah. The scene of Chapel chasing after the runaway researcher was fun, but honestly, it is kind of silly. Why wasn't a security officer stationed in and around sickbay?
It's a good point.
Yeah.
Giraffe.
Lexi wrote, fun start to the show. Visually beautiful. Love those new opening credits. The cast all gelled pretty well together, and I especially like Pike and Spock's dynamic. That Kurd tease was very cheeky. plot-wise, it was cool to tie it in as an aftermath repercussion of the events of Discovery. For sure, going to see the Gorn in this at some point. Oh, sorry. For sure, we're gonna see. I suppose. I know. White.
You got it.
Oh,
It's fine.
I got it. For sure, going to see the Gorn in this at some point, and hella looking forward to that. Time to give them their due. Won't lie. All the talk of Second Civil War, World War III, and mass death hit a nerve given the current climate of the world, which isn't a knock on the show. Effective art does that. It just sent a bit of shiver down me. Like the episode though, excited for more. Also, did this just turn me into a Spock tipping shipper? I know I'm
Spoilers,
time.
it did.
I know it doesn't end well, but damn, those scenes were spicy. I think it's time to change my background.
Oh yeah, please do. Yeah, yeah. You've been waiting all night long. Do it.
Oh,
no,
no.
that's not. There it is.
Here we go.
There you go.
There it is. Spicy. But Lexi, what about the Remans? SFK wrote, Thing of the Week, Trek. This is a promising start to the series, and I can't wait for more. The relationships between the crew members who know each other feel lived in and authentic. Finally, I really enjoyed the Kirk, Picard, Cisco, Janeway speech from Captain Pike to the aliens at the end of the episode. And back to the top. Jesse.
Joe wrote, this episode was everything I have been wanting from Star Trek. I got the easy one.
Nice and easy,
yeah.
but very true.
It's not wrong.
Nope.
Haven wrote, Strange New Worlds is exactly what I hoped it would be. It to be. For all of those who have joined us at 3 a.m. Eastern for the premiere, I thank you so much. I love being there with all of you. I'm a little confused because they use Kelvinverse stardate, using year as date, and traditional date as well. So my logical brain tells me that if it's all one, this took place over a year. But either way, this episode is why I love Star Trek. I know there is a dedicated Picard episode which is already released, but I want to say, what a finale. Can't wait for season 3.
Nice.
And Davies wrote, that episode was magical. Ortega's was my favorite until Hemmer gets settled. Chapel was lots of fun, and even Kyle was great. I feel like I know them already. It must be all those character spots I watch repeatedly. Why isn't it next week yet? And that's what we're all asking ourselves.
Take us home, Giraffe with Jesco's.
I'm gonna give Jesco back to Jesse because
I like that. Yeah.
I'll be Jesco. Oh, what a treat this was. I loved how they linked it back to Discovery, and we'll be continuing the character beat started in that series. It makes the whole universe feel so connected and alive. The crew's interactions were so natural and fun, and you can tell that they have been around the block as a team and are happy to welcome new people to the family. The main plot was very timely and so much in the spirit of Star Trek. Also, I did not expect to come out of this with Chapel as my standout, but she's owned every scene she is in, and her speciality is something totally unique, and I can't wait to see how they use it moving forward. Mbenga is fantastic as well. Now that is some Papa Bear energy. He is so charismatic. Accurate. My only complaints are that the start was a bit slow, leading to the resolution to feel rushed, and sad that Hemmer showed up late, assuming he was just cast if this episode was filmed or something, but I'm glad to see him beam up. So my guess is probably wasn't even necessarily being cast later. It's probably more just like trying to be economical with the story would be my guess. But yeah.
I don't know how he could have been used in that episode.
Yeah. It's probably just easier just to say, I showed up later instead of having to try and find a way to introduce him.
I dig it. Man, this has been quite the episode. I am so thrilled that we've gone on this journey together tonight. It has been just absolutely incredible. And with that, we have come to the end. And I will say, Jesse, it has been both an honor and a privilege to have you join us for the Stranger Worlds premiere. I couldn't think of a better guest to join us. So with that, I will say, plug away. What's going on? What do you have coming up? Where can people find you? Do your thing.
Well, first off, it's been an honor and a privilege to be on here with all of you. This has been a fantastic way to celebrate this pilot. Like, thank you so much for having me. My tribble is breeding for joy. But yeah, just to plug all my stuff, like I said at the top, you can find me at Jessie Gender on YouTube. I do social and political and LGBTQ discussions through Nerddoms and Geekdoms. A lot of Star Trek, but not exclusively Star Trek. Some stuff to... What's going on? I didn't even know it worked. Anyways, I didn't even know there was batteries in this. Things that you can look forward to on the channel, though, is I have a video about Sex in Star Trek Part 2. Sex in Star Trek Part 1 is already up. Part 2 is coming out sometime next month in June. And be looking for that one because it's going to be a 5-hour freaking epic. I'm not even kidding about that. It's 5 hours of highly produced content, not just me rambling. I swear, like it's a lot. And then I also have a secondary channel called Jessie Gender After Dark, where I do my news, reviews, reactions. That's where I do my weekly reviews of Star Trek Strange New World. So if you want my reviews of that show every single week, I'll be doing that over there. And then the only other thing to say is I do have my own podcast called Jump Gate, which is a Babylon 5 rewatch podcast, which I do with the wonderful Vera Wild of the Counts of Geeks channel. So if you are a Babylon 5 fan, check that out because I'm rewatching it. She's watching for the first time, and I just had to bite my tongue to not spoil everything at every single moment in that podcast. So yeah, that's all my stuff.
That's awesome.
I've never seen Babylon 5.
Oh, you should. It's so much fun.
I was about to say, Jesse, you should get in touch with Yum Yum Pod because they are doing the same thing. They're going through all of Babylon 5 again.
Oh, great.
And they're a lot of fun. They're over in Australia. So it has been an absolute honor or privilege. I just want to say I cannot wait to join all of you week to week for the next nine more weeks, right? of Strange More Worlds. Strange More Worlds. Give me all the more worlds. No, for Strange New Worlds. It's been an incredible series. So I will say for our amazing guest Jesse, for Hawk, for Eric, for Giraffe, live long and prosper, Majram, and good night.
Thanks for beaming into our podcast today. If you want to keep the hailing frequencies open, you can subscribe on Apple and Google Podcasts, YouTube, and Spotify. Like what you hear? Put in a good word with Starfleet and leave us a 5-star review.